Okay, Kingdom Hearts 3. If you haven't played the previous games, good luck with this. And I don't just mean Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. What I mean is these. So sometime around here, Square Enix became the master of convoluted storylines. This isn't a dig at Square Enix. Well, it is, but I love Square Enix games. That lame teenage nostalgia flows through my veins, but no level of nostalgia has prepared you for the Kingdom Hearts storyline. Oh no. I'll admit, I haven't played the long, oh my god, so long, list of Kingdom Hearts games. I've played the main entries and I've tried my hands at the remasters. I even watched a multitude of videos on YouTube detailing the storyline that I've missed out on, and it's just like, seriously, what the Okay, this is meant to be a review of Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically, but just to add a bit of context to anyone that isn't aware, if you're in a position like me where the main entries are most of where your information comes from, then this is likely where you stand. So you've got Sora and you've got fake Sora, who's called Roxas. That doesn't sound too bad, right? But wait a sec. You've also got fake Sora, who is fake Roxas but also isn't fake Roxas because Roxas is a fake version of fake Sora who's called Ventus. Yeah, Ventus. Not to be confused with evil Sora, who isn't actually Sora at all, but just a character that looks like Sora and is evil. I think. I don't really know anymore. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You've also got the organisation members who all have X's in their name, and I'm pretty sure there's a reason for that, but at this point, I've just given up. Welcome to Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts 3! So, quick side note on this one. I wrote the review while I was playing through the game, and then I just made adjustments accordingly after I'd finished it. It kind of helps me understand my own reason and thought process, especially when it comes to a game like this. So you start out with Master Yen Sid. Master Yen Sid. Having conveniently lost all your powers and abilities because of something that happened in one of the entries you probably didn't care about. You set off to Olympus or Thebes or Hercuville, whatever it's called, to meet the red-haired mountain that is Hercules. And this is just to start your training all over again, like you did in Kingdom Hearts 2. So this is the beginning of the game. I'll save any story spoilers at this point, but just to kind of best cover yourself, you should probably play the game. The story! And the characters and voices and all that jazz. I mean, if what I said earlier doesn't cover the precedent for this, I don't really know what will. The entirety of the series storyline is all... and that's putting it lightly. But Kingdom Hearts 3 approaches it in a bit of a different manner. It keeps the story very simple. You travel from one Disney franchise to another. Some where the voice acting is okay, and others where it's just total garbage.
And evil emperors and protecting the galaxy? Any of that ring a bell?
If this is starting to sound familiar, it's because you've already done this in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And this is all well and good, but ultimately it's an entirely pointless process, and the Disney tie-ins are simply there because they are.
Oh please, it's just more junk.
You want to have fun, Buzz Lightyear? Sweet. You want to sail the seas with
Captain Jack Sparrow?
Done. You want to be a monster with Mike Wazowski? No problemo. But it all means nothing. You see, at this point, Square Enix have dug themselves such a retcon-filled trap with 10 bazillion spin-offs that they don't even know why Disney is part of this collaboration anymore. I mean, it's not the worst storyline going, but if you were to observe Kingdom Hearts 3 independently, even with some prior knowledge of the previous games, you'd have to say it's kinda poor. I mean, you mostly just stumble to each world with minimal to no explanation, and if you do get an explanation, it's like it's just been written in to put the characters in place rather than being part of a larger story. I mean, don't get me wrong, once you arrive at these worlds, you'll be sure to enjoy yourself with some kind of Disney nostalgia, and I'm not actually being sarcastic. There are some worlds that are genuinely fun to visit, but the novelty wears thin pretty quickly, especially when the characters tend to spout the same lines of dialogue over and over again. And if anyone's guilty of this, it's your forever present pal, Donald Bloody Duck. The story eventually comes to a thrilling climax, marking the end of those forever present migraines you've been having just trying to understand in detail what's actually going on in Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't worry, you're safe now. The battle system! And X. And if you're on Xbox, it's A. But and triangle. Nailed it. But seriously, it hasn't changed all that much from Kingdom Hearts 2, and this is way back in 2006 when it released in Europe and North America. I mean, sure, it's way more polished and you've got a bigger catalogue of moves to utilise, but that's pretty much expected given the 13-year gap. There is definitely a little more finesse involved with much more difficult enemies, but I think you could comfortably play through the game on standard difficulty using just the attack and trigger moves 90% of the time. Now, it probably seems like I haven't said anything nice about the game so far, which, to be honest, I haven't, but this is where that changes. You see, despite the battle system being very similar to previous entries, which I just want to clarify I don't actually have an issue with, it does still work very well within the game's environment. It might sound like it gets boring and repetitive, but it just doesn't. I mean, yeah, this is kind of lame, but apart from that, this is really a case of don't fix what isn't broken. The battle system basically hasn't changed at all. The combat isn't perfect. For example, when you're locked onto a target, it kind of feels like the camera's fighting against you, but generally it works, and to that I say kudos. So the battle system gets my nod of approval. And now, the graphics! Look at this. Look at it. The game looks and runs all but flawlessly, and this is coming from someone not using the PlayStation Pro. One of my biggest issues with this generation of gaming is the gap that started to form in terms of performance between the original PlayStation 4 and Xbox consoles and their steroid-induced counterparts. It's made experiences with high-end games like Red Dead 2 tarnished, and it's just one example. But we don't see that here with Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes, the game has a blend of a standard cartoony look sprinkled with some anime vibes, which is probably less strenuous on the system compared to something photorealistic. But I have to commend Square Enix for making such an incredible looking game and bringing the style into the modern day with such grace. It isn't groundbreaking by any means, and there's definitely prettier games out there, but overall, I honestly can't complain about how it looks, which has made this section kinda short. Summary! Storyline. What the fuck out of who gives a shit anymore? Battle system. 7 out of 10. Decent, no major complaints, always room for improvement. And graphics, 8 out of 10. Honest overall, 6.5 out of 10. Nostalgic overall, it's the best game ever and I cried tears. Out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review. It's my first one of this type. If there's anything you want to leave, and I've been working on the audio hoping it's okay. It seems to be giving me a bit of a lisp. I don't actually have one. I don't know if I'm too close to the mic, or maybe I just need to change my setup a little bit. But yeah, if you liked it, please subscribe. I'll be hopefully doing more of these type of reviews in the future, and also make sort of tutorials. Yeah, thanks.
This might be a good spot to find some ingredients.